hyping up Willie Beeman clip for this episode.
Yes.
Why don't
Yeah,
you
we need to, like, do an apology Willie B segment for next
I'll
episode. Just
apologize after he
Listen,
plays consecutively for
you will
3
all
months
be
in the
apologizing. You'll all be apologizing soon enough.
welcome back to Off the Thread Reds. We're a group chat of Reds fans overreact, overanalyze, and go through the season with you. This episode today, we're going to be talking a little bit about what it's time for this season, but for who? Who's going to be the breakout player this year in 2026, and what can we expect from that player?
Yeah, welcome back, fellas. I'll start us off. By the time I responded to the group chat, everybody had already chosen, so I was left with Willie Beam and Benson. But personally, I think this is his time to shine. Throw the stats out the window. We can talk about 2023. He broke out that year, was hitting 275, 11 homers. 2024, slump year. 2025, slump year. More so than anything, I think going into Goodyear, he felt as if he had something to prove. And if you watched any of the comments Terry Francona had recently, just talk about his ability to transcend in the outfield. He can play left field, right field, center field. He can face lefties. He can face righties. He gives you opportunities from both sides of the plate. Not to mention, he's just an easy guy to root for. You can't go without a Reds highlight reel that doesn't have him slamming a bat cheering on the dugout. Or losing his helmet on any double or triple. So I got Will Benson breaking out this year. I think it'll be fun to watch. I don't know if he's going to stay the entire year up in the pros, but he always fluctuates. I just think this will be his year to come out strong.
My first question to you, John, when does he get sent to Louisville, before or after Mother's Day? Does he start with
After Mother's Day. At least give me after
okay.
Mother's Day. Like, honestly, I think Will Benson struggles at the beginning of every year. He has for, like, historically a couple of years, has slower Aprils. But he does, when he picks up, can read the pitch as well, send them deep. So I'm going to say after Mother's Day.
He's great from an energy standpoint. From a consistency standpoint, the right field, left field corners are always just a hotel of whoever's playing that day versus a standalone player. So, like, I like the classic Will Benson meme of him hitting the walk off, but he's going to spend probably half the season in Louisville, if we're being real.
Yeah, we're just
That's
looking
a
for
fair
that
estimate.
allow time in Cincinnati. But yeah, I was going to ask where you think he's going to spend most of his time, because we're kind of covering the other guys, I think, with our answers and left and right field, and just
I'd say
don't know where
majority of his time is spent in the MLB. It has for the past 3 seasons. He's played above 90 games every year past 2 or since 2023. I don't see him going down in games necessarily. But I do see your guys' points. There are other people, there are other hot topics. Spencer Steer's there. You got Dane Myers there. There's other players that can fill those gaps, but I got Beeman.
So I'm gonna end it with this really quick, John. If Will Benson is gonna be our breakout player of 2026, I'm just gonna go ahead and flush my Red stuff down the toilet, because that would not be good for the Reds. I didn't mean to make a roasting of John right now, but no, I think if Will Benson has a good year, I think it's going to be in that platoon position, and kind of see where he's going from that. But I will say, if he does well in the platoon, I mean, that fills a huge gap that this team needs. So, you know what? Actually having him, I talked myself into it. Will Benson might be actually a really good breakout player for this season. All right, going into it, Joe, you got our boy Marte.
Yeah, Noelvi. I mean, he started showing flashes of the development last year. He had a really rough 2024, coming down from the PEDs beforehand, when he was thriving in 2023. But then he kind of started to find his stride. I think now that his home is in the outfield, Mark kind of touched on that last episode. I think he'll just getting more consistent at bats, consistently knowing where he's going out in the field. He can focus on seeing pitches better. And yeah, I also think he's going to mash more homers. 14 homers last year, up from 4 the year before. I got him over 25 homers this year.
I think that is what he brings to the table, right? Like, no one's gonna sit there and say, like, Novalé Marte is gonna blow us away defensively, especially in the outfield. He made the great play last year, robbing the homer, kept us alive, no doubt about it. But I think all of us, when we talk about Marte, it's like the excitement comes from the bat, right? Can he figure it
Yeah.
out? Can he shorten the strike zone? Can he mash the home runs?
He's got an arm too out there though. He can
Definitely a
gun a couple
cannon.
people down. Yeah.
No lie, Joey, when I saw you in the group message send in Marte, I was actually kind of mad at myself because it makes a lot of sense. Like he's going to play 100 and hopefully 50 games, right? Plus. And if he breaks out and has a year that we think 25 home runs, dude, we are looking good. And I'm curious where he bats in our lineup. Is he going to bat 2? Is he going to bat 5 behind Suarez? Do they put him down at 7 to
Opening
let him
day.
like get
Yeah.
comfortable? So I don't know. It'll be interesting to kind of see. I like this one. John, I
Do you
do like
think
Will Benson though. All right, I feel bad.
do you think they keep him in right field the whole year, or do you think they try to move him around?
Now, I mean, I hope that's just his home. I hope
That would
he's
be. I mean, you made him learn the position.
I hope he's 5 out of 6 days out there. And Benson can play the other one.
All right, going off that, Mark, you had Spencer Steer as your guy. If you want to talk a little bit about that.
He needs to grow the mustache back. That's number one. Number two, when 2023, he was arguably the MVP of the team, right? Like whenever you needed a big hit, Steer was coming up and he was batting what, fourth, fifth, and was up an anchor in the lineup. The one thing I do feel bad about Spencer is that he doesn't have a set position, which is a good and a bad thing, right? Like, I think it's obviously positive that you can move him around, but in terms of taking a little bit of stress off of his back, he doesn't know where he's lining up, whether it's outfield or if he's in the infield or if he's strictly a DH. Um, I do think this is probably his last year before I'm sure they probably look at trade or, moving off him at some point because I imagine they're gonna keep trying new things with other players. But um, if he can replicate close to what 2023 was, it's hard to believe this team's not winning upwards to 86, 87 games, and he's batting cleanup.
Steer for me is what I think you all think Will Benson is personally. I see Spencer Steer as a guy who's played well over 120 plus games 3 years in a row. I think it's great. I think he's your American dad, probably cuts the lawn in his shorts and has Skechers on and like lovely dude. But I just see him as just average to above average, platoon kind of guy. He'll fill your gaps at first base. He'll fill your gaps in the outfield when you need him. Like, I don't think he's going to be someone who's going to completely turn the corner, which I don't think Will Benson will neither. But I do think in their roles for being platoon players, they absolutely have a chance to break out and make a difference on this team.
I don't
Yeah,
think he's going to replicate.
I think if we put a poll out to our better halves right now and they wanted to pick a player, the mustache Spencer Steer probably would win. But you never know. He might be that breakout player that we see in 2026.
He's
Does not miss squats.
He's not going to get you 30 home runs, but if he can get, those RBIs up to 90 and have, hit for contact and you bring guys in, move guys over, play clean defensively, all you need is consistency, right? And with the team that lacked it a lot last year, especially in the one-run games, I think Spencer has a lot of room for making an impact.
Yeah,
I will say going off.
You go ahead.
I will say going off that really quick. If Spencer Steer has anywhere close to his 2023 season, I mean, I think the Reds are sitting pretty on like just overall team. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't want to take Kirby's thunder or tease his guy, but I think Steer and his selection are kind of the two. They're more X factors to me than breakout players because I don't ever really see them being, you know, MVP top 20 voting in their career. But if they can, get back to what we even saw from them in their rookie seasons, that's going to make a huge difference on the Reds winning some games. We expected them to take off from that point, and they actually went in the wrong direction. So now we just want them to get back to where they were, really. And I think a lot of that is confidence because they clearly were there. I don't think it's just the pitchers figure out Spencer Steer and now he can't hit MLB pitching. I think it's just he's gotten in some slumps, and needs to find that consistency.
One last thing on
Yeah,
Spencer Steer. If Spencer Steer's your best player, you're not winning the division, right? To Joey's point, if he's your fourth best player and he's knocking in 90 RBIs, you're in a very good spot. And hopefully, I'll let you kind of Kirby take lead on your guy who's similar. But yeah, you don't need him to be your best player. You just need him to be consistent, fourth, fifth best hitter in the lineup.
yeah. And I think that's like key too is Spencer Steer, just like making sure he's that consistent guy in the lineup that can do damage day in and day out. And I mean, he's going to play 150 plus games as well. Just who knows where. But so my pick was between Spencer Steer and who I ended up picking, who Matt McClain. I think Matt McClain this year, if he is anywhere close to what he was in 2023 when he first came up, I think the Reds are the team in the NL Central. He will set the table. I mean, he is your prototypical two hitter. If he's able to stay healthy, right, and also kind of just stay consistent. I think Joe, you said the confidence part. I mean, if he's able to stay confident and do what he does, I mean, he's a five-tool player. If his power kind of gets there, and I think the Reds definitely can rally around him. Also, I heard like over the time and everything, I guess all the players are pointing to him like almost as a team captain too, which is kind of cool. Seeing if he can kind of run off with that as well. But
When Matt McClain came up in 2023, shortly after Ellie did, it was the year of everybody coming up. We had CES, Spencer Steer, everybody started the year in 2023 hot. I had the hottest of hot takes about his future. I think that he is as stellar defensively as he is offensively. Sure, gloved most of the time last year. There was a confidence dip. He wasn't as stellar on that half. But even if you look at his stats last year, mind you, coming back from a torn labrum, a year-long injury is not something easy to do, especially at the major league level. But the second half of the year, he came back way stronger than he started out. The majority of the year, he's sitting right around 160, 170 batting average, bumped that up to 220, got to 50 RBIs. Definitely areas to grow on, but when you talk about a player who's in a major slump almost a year long, and they're able to still stand in front of media and talk about how that was good for them to just be able to work through that and still show up day in, day out, I have all the faith in the world that his 2026 is going to turn out well.
I mean, in that 2023, it was him and Corbin Carroll for NL Rookie of the Year. Like, just it was incredible. Like he was arguably our best hitter. Just I mean, average wise, and just his approach at the plate. My question to you guys is, if he has a slow April and May, what's the leash looking like? What's do you?
I think based off of what Tito said about him in the past and going into spring training, I think Tito has all the faith in the world in him, and he's got still one of the longer leashes, even though he's struggled so much. He's also playing a position where we don't have as many options. Yeah, we don't have Espinal anymore to go in and fill in, but he's slumping.
yeah, going off what Joey just said, like basically the offseason moves that the Reds made basically it solidified that Matt McClain is the second baseman. And he's going to play there six out of the 7 days of the week. So I am curious, but also as a Reds fan, I'm actually a little nervous because if Matt McClain doesn't pan out, are we going to put Sal Stewart at second? Are we going to try and shift and do Spencer Steer at second, who hasn't played there since college, right? like what's their move? And I mean, there's a lot of stock in Matt McClain, and hopefully he pans out for the team, but we'll have to see kind of what happens this year.
I mean, they essentially moved off of India because they were so confident in Matt McClain, who was obviously another fan favorite, right? I did feel like last year watching games, especially Matt McClain at bats, if you just live bet Matt McClain to strike out, you were typically winning money. Like that
Yeah.
was my one thing that I always felt like he was with majority of the other team or the players they were always striking out or whatever from a fan perspective. But if he can really dial in, I mean, you could see his raw potential in 2023. But I mean, they believe in him, so I think they'll let him play and struggle for as long as they can.
I think
So
looking also at all four of the players that we spoke about, if you look at all four of their 2023s compared to their 2025s, if all of them have breakout years or at least have some sort of progression from their regression they had, this team's going to be sitting just fine. Someone's going to be able to fill that gap. One player goes into a peak, the other goes into a valley. You'll be able to build off of that year, just a little bit more progression, a little bit less regression.
so like kind of going off of what everybody's kind of saying, I think the breakout player of the year, most likely, I feel like it's not going to be one player. I feel like there's going to be a couple that are going to have stints. Maybe in April and May it's Matt McClain, but then in July it's Benson or something like that. This team, there's going to be a lot of moving parts to it, and we'll get more into that later on as the season goes. But I'm really curious to kind of see how all these players kind of break out on their own, because that's really what the team needs. Now, I do want to bring up an honorable mention for breakout player of the year, and it's strictly because of a picture the Reds posted of him. Now, I love him to death. He's probably, hopefully, going to be not only a AAA masher, but a Major League masher at some point this season. But if you guys get the chance, you got to look at CES's new look. Christian Encarnacion Strand is going to do two things this year with the rec specs. He's either going to hit 50 home runs or he's going to strike out 150 times. Right now, I'm all about it. I got all my stock on CES, just absolutely murdering baseballs.
Yeah, well, we kind of roasted John with the Will Benson earlier, and I think it's time for you to get a little with the CES as well, because we're talking about off-season transactions and how much faith we have in players. I think this franchise is dedicated to not seeing CES play first base at all this year. I mean, signing in Nathaniel Lowe, I mean, who looks like he's just straight out of a Christmas movie, like the fat old child. Um, they're wanting to bring him in. Gino, they're saying Gino is going to spend some time at first. Steer's still playing there a little. They might play Sal. I don't see a path to at bats for CES going forward.
They should have traded, and that's his potential as like a young up and coming player with just as strong as a player in the league. They should have traded him, in my opinion. Also, the rec specs, hoping this is a Jameis Winston situation where it's helping him see, and this could lead to success down the road. But chances are it's not going to be in a Cincinnati Reds jersey.
I'll jump into the getting roasted with Kirby on this only because what I'll say about CES is if you're not rooting for him to pan out, in like 60 games, he hit 13 home runs in 2023 and had almost 40 RBIs. Like, for a guy who's 26 years old, he's getting a little bit older than our youngsters than we currently have. By no means am I saying, like, hey, I want you to spend a lot of time in the majors. But when the door does open and you have to step up to the major league plate, I hope the rec specs are working. I hope 2023 CES is there, because I'd love to see him pan out, mash baseballs when he does get the opportunity. I think that guy is still in there somewhere. But yeah, I do also see Mark's point. We could have sold when he had some high value there as well.
I guess my thing is, what is the avenue where he's playing? If it's not either Sal's struggling so much or
Injury.
there's an injury, right? Like something horrible has happened if he's starting, right? Which
Yeah,
stinks. He had a lot of potential, but what's the situation?
it's
So
one of
this is
those
gonna
two, right? It's Sal or an injury, unfortunately. I don't think there is any other situation. I think we all know the situation would be not good and it would be dire if he's up there. It's just when given the opportunity, I really hope that I hope the rec specs save him like they did Jameis for even a little bit.
Yeah, we've just
so
kind
this
of, I
is
feel like, been waiting on a CES breakout and saying this is the year in and year out, and he hasn't showed any of the flashes. Like, at least Steer and McLean have showed us what they could do at times. We really just haven't seen anything from CES. I mean, a couple towering home runs mixed in with a bunch of strikeouts, and injuries as well.
I think as an organization too, like I think the Reds have more in on Reese Hines than they would CES if they're just trying to bring a bat up, right? Like it would have to
Yeah.
take a lot for CES to make it back to the majors. And again, I'm all for it. I'm not trying to put a player down or anything like that. Like I want him to work out because he would help us out a lot. But again, it's gonna be tough to kind of see him in Cincinnati this year. So obviously that was our Threads kind of breakdown on what we think of the who's going to be the player to turn it up this year. What we're going to get into a little bit now is looking at what potentially we could see as a team or as an organization, and kind of looking at maybe some fan threads as well of what they're curious about for the Reds for this year. Before we do that, though, I do want to talk about this year TV subscription and also the first game that's going to be on Saturday. So MLB.TV is going to be taking over the Reds kind of broadcasting rights. If you guys haven't heard yet, I'd love your guys' input on this, but like it's super easy. If you have the MLB app, it's $100 for the season. And you can watch it. There's no blackouts unless they play, I'm assuming, on like Apple TV, which they might a couple times this year. But the whole idea is to make it easy, streamline it, and kind of go from there. Any Big Bally sports fans, people out there, I'm sorry. FanDuel, sorry. The MLB is trying to take over, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fact that this is even a conversation shows how troublesome it was for fans. Like, I don't know about you all, but there were a couple of years in 2022, 2023 where genuinely just days before the Reds were having first pitch, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to watch games, what subscriptions I need to sign up for, what hoops I need to jump through. I'm not at all upset at $100 sticker price. That puts you under $1 per game if you watch all 162. It gives you affiliate games as well. I think anytime you're making it easier for the common fan to watch a sport that you want to grow, you're doing something right. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if those Apple TV games are going to be on it. I kind of read an article and had mixed messaging, but it seems like it's kind of an all inclusive package, and then it also comes with basically MLB's version of Red Zone, which I know not everyone listening here follows the rest of the MLB, but I mean, if you have the opportunity to see all the games and just what game is in the bottom of the ninth inning, it may be a little more interesting than turning on a game and seeing it's the middle of the fifth, and you're not going to have any interest that way. But this could be able to get more action to fans in less time.
It's also probably easier for the team to, because it's a monthly subscription, right? So like they have to, from like the Red standpoint, you're paying, like the Reds would have a key like indication of fan engagement throughout the season, right? Like if they start off slow and everyone by the time 4th of July rolls around says, I'll keep my money and put it towards Red Zone for the fall, isn't that kind of a sign that like they can keep track of where they stand with the local fan base, which Cincinnati fans are also very transparent on how they feel with the Reds, but like you get to see the financial impact too, right? So like if they're losing all the subscriptions or vice versa, you're at the deadline and you make a trade and you re-engage, a part of the fan base that you lost earlier. Maybe that's room for them to, make moves outside their what their current thought process is, right? Or maybe I'm just thinking too much into it.
Do they have a monthly subscription, or is it just the whole season package?
I think they're doing a monthly subscription. I think it's $10. No, that's not right. I think it's 20. I think it's $20 or something like that, and then it's 100 for
Okay.
the season. So I mean, $100. I will say too, like from a Reds fan point of view, man, this is great because it's just so easy, like what John was saying, to access the season for the Reds, and like also the capability of having it on your phone all the time too. You don't have to kind of switch or go to the FanDuel app or like try and figure out how to get there. It's just right there on MLB TV. I think it'll be nice for the fans. But Mark, I like your point. Like, I think this is going to really emphasize mid-market to small market teams. Like, hey, you got to perform because we can see like fans are obviously letting the MLB know like who's watching the games, and who's going to be there.
Well, if it's September 1st and you got, NFL season starting that month and you're 7 games out, part of the fan base is probably going to quit, right? So like I'm sure there's probably a thought process on their end. Do we still have the Sadak and Barry Larkin? Are they the announcers or is that TBD?
Yeah. So everything's the same
Okay.
as of right now. So the whole broadcasting crew will still be there. Sabo, Sadak. I'm assuming the normal guest and everything who's going to be hosting. Like I think everything's the same. I think the only difference is they're not going to be wearing like Reds apparel. I think it's going to be like MLB like TV type apparel, which will be kind of interesting to see. But from what I know, that everything's going to be the same.
Yeah, it is $19.99 a month. So if you don't trust the Reds to make it through the All-Star break competing, then the monthly options for you.
Well, hey, we'll know by the end of May. We'll know by the end of the May. All right. So, kind of going off the MLB TV, let's get into kind of our thread of what's going on. We'll get into everybody's kind of categories on what they've been talking about in our group message. So let's start off with West Side rants. John, let's get the people going here on what the West Side's kind of feeling, not only about the Reds but Cincinnati as a whole.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to touch on Reds baseball during this rant. I'm going to bring a different brand into the spotlight here. If you're a baseball sicko, baseball's already started. We got college baseball. It's the purest form. UC baseball, we all went to UC, at least for the majority of our time. Some of us went to other competitive schools for a little bit of time. But UC baseball, we got Jordan Bischel as the coach. If you have not seen, gone to, or just experienced a UC baseball game, let me paint the picture for you here. We were number 1 in bunting last year among all P4 schools and number 2 in stealing across all P4 schools. This team likes to run like the wind. They just picked up a win against number 8 Auburn, I believe, top 10 in the country, 8-0. 3-1 sitting on the year. I feel like this team is more legit than it was last year. And last year we made some noise in the Big 12 tournament. So if you're up for it, you go down, watch a game in Clifton. If you get there ahead of time before first pitch, libations are only $5 and 16 ounces. Have a good time, support the team, go UC baseball.
They made the NCAA tournament last year, right?
Yes. But the noise that they made in the Big 12 is when national media was like, who's this Cats team? What are they doing? If you watched all year last year, it's the most entertaining brand of baseball. They just,
I think
it doesn't matter if you're the catcher or first baseman, you're laying down a bunt and you're getting on base.
Wasn't the Big 12 tournament at where the Texas Rangers play? Wasn't that like where
Correct.
there was like 6 people in the stands, but Bishop ball was going off?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, dude, UC baseball, I mean, Big 12 baseball just in general, it's legit. You got a lot of MLB prospects kind of pipeline through that conference in college baseball. And I'm really curious to see kind of how this team continues to adapt and change. And I love it. You might not have, the most power. You might not have the best pitching, but man, if you can control the base pads and make it your game, dude, that's how you win baseball. Coming from Coach Slater just came out there for a second. All right, let's get into a little bit of one of our, non-sponsored but soon to be sponsored by DraftKings segments. We got Mark's metrics here. There's a couple things that you laid out, and I do like it. You're talking a little World Baseball Classic, so you can get into it.
Yep. For all you sickos out there, the crown is yours, featuring DraftKings odds. Little future action on World Baseball Classic 2 that obviously are kind of Captain Obvious speaking, the 2 teams that are most likely to win. U.S. with almost even money, which is just hard to not think that the U.S. with the pitching duo of Skubal and Skeens aren't going to just tear into the tournament. The one that kind of caught my eye for just a value standpoint, open to what you guys think, the Dominican Republic, plus 400. A lot of talent. I'll say, I don't know if you guys have the roster up, but obviously you have Juan Soto, Tatis, I think, isn't Austin Wins the catcher?
He might be. I don't have the roster.
Yeah, that's fine.
Austin Wins is the catcher for the DR.
I think so.
That's electric.
John, fact check me.
That's awesome.
I'm pulling that up. That would be unreal for this.
That would be awesome.
Vladdy, and Machado.
Vladdy. Some big bodied individuals that are just going to launch some. From a value standpoint, and I think they have a couple of solid pitchers. It doesn't hurt to think that both of them are going to be playing in the finals, but I don't know, the U.S. something about the U.S. of A. winning it just hits home. So
yeah, the pitching of the U.S. I think does beat out the DR,
Yeah.
but I think the DR lineup might have a little bit on the U.S.'s. We also got Ketel Marte, Julio Rodriguez,
J-Rod.
and Perdomo, who is one of the most underrated bats in the league last year.
Yeah,
it's a good.
that DR lineup might be
Wells, not
Walls,
Wins.
not Wins. Right.
Yeah.
Is their starting pitcher Sandy, right?
Christopher Sanchez as well. It's like,
Okay. So there's there's some value there. And then also from a win total standpoint, we talked about last week, win total of 83.5, almost even money on Reds. As a Reds fan, doesn't hurt to just place a small wager. You have something to root for, even if maybe they're not competitive in August and September. They got to play around 500 baseball, and they should be able to do that. So, if you're interested in just having a season long bet to root for versus player specific props, definitely the win total. We're all biased. We all want the win total to go over, but it's going to hit over.
So going off the win total, so it's kind of funny to like look at this as 83.5 because I'm actually like a little taken back. In the past, the win total for the Reds have always been so low for the past couple of years where it's like I'm putting the savings account on that because they have to go over. This is the first time I've looked at the win total and I'm like, ooh, like as a Reds fan, right? Over. But at the same time, you're thinking like it takes like 1 or 2 injuries that they're going to be under that win total. So it's kind of curious to look at that.
This is the first time I've looked at the Reds win total, and the number started with an 8 and not a 7. So I'm ecstatic.
Mark, did you catch Japan's World Baseball Classic odds?
No, I think they might be second and Dominican Republic's third. I think Japan's
Okay.
probably. I can check.
Yeah, they have a couple guys I've heard of before.
Just a couple big ones.
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani and Yamamoto. They got
Well,
some other names too. We'll cover the World Baseball Classic rosters as we get a little closer to the event. But yeah, there's some fun teams out there. There will definitely be some massive blowouts too if you look at some of these rosters. But
Yeah.
So as Joey's kind of getting into around the world, let's get into Joey's segment here. Around the league with Joey, not sponsored by Toyota Camry, but soon to be sponsored by Toyota Camry. What news around the league do you got? There's obviously quite a few different headlines that are being put out there about the
yeah,
MLB. So
the biggest thing this morning found out that they're getting a new director of the MLB Players Association. Tony Clark, the former director, resigned due to an inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law, who was also his subordinate in the MLB Players Association. So I think that's a no-no on many fronts. And then from an actual baseball lockout perspective, I don't know if this is going to make much of a difference because I believe that the Players Association is going to, nominate somebody who's going to keep the association's interest front of mind, and that is bargaining for no salary cap. So I don't think this is going to make a whole lot of news when we look at the 2027 offseason, but a funny story for now, I guess, and sad.
yeah. I could definitely see this going 2 ways for the winter lockout or soon to be lockout for next year. The new rep is either going to, like what Joey said, be extremely on one side, making sure that there is no salary cap, the players get what they need, right? Things like that. Or the person that's going to step in there is going to try and mediate the situation so there is a season in 2027. So I'm curious to kind of see who they pick and also what their approach is going to be. Because, I mean, there's a good chance we're not going to be starting baseball in March next year. So,
Breaking news possibly here then, because they just elected a new executive director of the MLBPA. Ta-da! We got Bruce Meyer. Doing a little bit of research here for you. He's been the labor negotiator for baseball players since 2018. He was the unanimous vote to be the new executive director of MLBPA. ESPN reported a little bit under an hour ago, and a lot of other major organizations as soon as 21 to 17 minutes ago. So Bruce Meyer, gonna have to do a little bit more reading up on him, but seems like he's definitely partisan, getting the players the best opportunities that he can. So we'll see what that has and what factor it has. I think I kind of set with Joey. I don't know how much is actually going to change what's going to actually happen with the lockout.
Do you think we
John,
can get
was that
Bruce on for next week's episode?
yeah, I'll send some emails out, try and get, in touch with his people so you can talk to our people. I've got a good feeling about it. He'll probably
I didn't
respond.
remember the name, but I saw that Boris kind of nominated somebody for it, and I'd be curious if it was a unanimous vote already. It probably was Bruce Meyer, which any indication of Boris he's not going to take any sort of pay cut for the players. So, and
No,
he also is
it's
totally fine with holding out negotiations and even missing part of a season. So we'll
it
see.
seems like the only language right now that there's a dispute on between outlets is some are saying he's the interim executive director, others are naming him the 7th and confirmed executive director. So we'll see as it irons out. Either way, Bruce Meyer elected executive director of MLBPA.
And then the only other around the league news I had was there's actually comments made a while ago, but then they kind of resurfaced as Dave Dombrowski said of, his highest paid player that Bryce Harper is no longer elite. And so, I mean, I don't know if Kyle Schwarber wants to reopen, um, his free agency or if he wants to play for a guy who's going to abandon him a little bit down the road. But I would say Nick Kroll would never call Kyle Schwarber anything but elite.
Agree. I mean, we're a pro Elder, pro LaSalle. Now we're a pro Middies. Middletown for life. Schwarber, come on back home. You don't want to work for that type of organization that don't have your best in mind. No lie though, Joey. When that broke out with Harper, that is a ridiculous thing to say. I mean, Bryce Harper is one of the best, easily top 20 hitters in the league. Still, if you put him on any team, he's going to bat third, fourth for you. So that just blew me away.
Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
Like, are we all in agreement there? Hall of Famer? Yeah, 100%. Making that statement when he is unanimous, I believe, amongst the majority of baseball players, Hall of Famer, 14 years in the league, like, was absurd. Not to mention he's on your team and he's like a very big contributing factor in your World Series hopes.
Do you think they hang the banner on opening day? Bryce Harper thought Schwarber was going to Cincinnati. Like, what point do we hang that banner?
Hey, that interview was one of the funniest things I've watched. He was like, yeah, we were just, talking around. We just thought Schwarber was going to just go back home. We had no clue. And I was like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Hang the banner.
All right. So that's around the league with Joey. I appreciate it. Toyota Camry, thanks for your sponsorship here soon for our podcast. Now, we're going to be getting into a little bit of a new segment, which is our fan thread questions. So people listening out there, please, obviously, we want you to engage with our podcast. Please send us questions through social media. Different things like that, and we'll try and answer them as the podcast and as the red season goes on. So the first two questions we got is from Young Cap 513. The first one he has here, it says, if you could put together a Reds lineup from players that you've watched play in a Reds uniform, what is your lineup? Now, I want to make this kind of fun for all of us since we're all here. Everybody, we're going to go through the order of the lineup. So Cap, you're going to have to pick a leadoff. And then we'll kind of go Mark, Joe, and me, and then we'll go through it. So, John, you're going to start us off. Who would be the leadoff batter?
Of all players that I've watched, leadoff batter, man.
Do you want to do in order or in position order?
Oh, let's do position order. Let's do. Let's do that.
Position. Like, personally, I've been thinking about this question for a minute since I had seen it come through. If we were just talking position, I'd go catcher for nostalgia. I loved LaRue personally. Grew up with him. First base, I had a tough time not picking Sean Casey.
What, are you going to take all of them
I think
from
that's
us?
the correct idea.
Yeah, wait.
All right, listen.
You pick two. You pick two. LaRue,
I took those
Joey
two.
Votto.
I got catcher first base.
Okay.
LaRue, Joey
Okay.
Votto.
All right, Mark, you're going to go second base, shortstop.
I think I'll take at that dude BP. So I would say just elite highlight reel. Gonna go with just like grandfathered in by just like association of how old we are. Barry Larkin, just shortstop. Easy. I'll pass it to either you, Curb, or Joey for third.
All right, Joey, you want to go third and DH?
I'll take third base. I'm going to go Edwin Encarnacion. Yeah,
Not Scott Rowland.
Well, Rowland he kind of had lost some of his power by the time he was here. He's still a great player.
That error in the NLDS.
Yeah, that's soured it for me.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, go DH, Joe.
Oh, DH.
Yeah.
Well, if he doesn't have to play the field at all, I'm going Adam Dunn. Especially
Nice.
especially after seeing all these years where we haven't been hitting for power, he'll at least fix that. And then,
He would have been a rich man in today's world.
yeah. And what's another 100, 210 strikeouts? So
All right. So what I'll do, I'll go left and right, and then we'll pick a center fielder all together. But I'll go okay. Left field. Gonna go absolute emotional pick because I just like the way he played baseball. I'm gonna go Johnny Gomes. In left. Power, gritty guy. He can get it done. And then right field. For the love of the game and for how good he is and a Hall of Famer, which he didn't do great, and I'm going to put him in right for this purpose. I'm going to go Ken Griffey Jr. just so he's
you
on
said
there.
for the love of the game. I thought you were going another direction.
I
No,
thought you
no,
were gonna
no,
do
no, no.
Austin Kearns.
No, a little, love for the departed for Ryan Friel for those plays.
Oh no,
Right field.
I thought
center. Let's put
I
him in
thought
center,
center
baby.
field.
center
Put him
Yeah,
in
that's
center. Okay.
perfect. Yeah, let's do that. So yeah, little dirty shirt day, center field. Put him out there. So yeah, all right. So who we got at catcher?
I got LaRue and I got Joey Votto.
And then second and short,
Phillips and Larkin.
third and DH.
Edwin and Dunn.
And I got Johnny Gomes and Ken Griffey Jr. And then we got Ryan Friel in center
I
field.
think
Yeah,
we're-
that's a
yeah,
good
that's
team.
All right, here we go.
Who's our pitcher?
Johnny Cueto.
I was gonna say it's got to be Cueto.
Yeah. Got to be Cueto. That is the most 2000s to early 2000s baseball team I've ever seen on a roster. That's good stuff.
100%.
That's good stuff right there. All right. So going off of that, let's go to our next question. This one here is a little bit more of a personal opinion on what we do when we go to the ballpark. For people who didn't know, before we kind of get into this question, we all used to be season ticket holders together. We would split the season tickets up, match up, and kind of go. We got it back in 2024 in hopes that they would be making the playoffs, but then everybody got hurt, so it wasn't great. But here we go. It says, do you have a routine when you get to the ballpark? Hidden gems in the ballpark, meaning seats, different food, different things like that.
I personally, first game of the year, whenever I get to the ballpark, I try and get there like 30 minutes early. This is like just strictly a nostalgia thing. When I would go with my family, sometimes I was lucky enough to where they would taste like an opening day-esque game, would get there real early, and we just walk to the ballpark, like see new things that are there, new food stations. You can look that stuff up on MLB Ballpark app. So I'll get into the ballpark. Now, if we're talking a routine game, third baseline, after I'm parking down at Sawyer Park or whatever that point is, come in third base entrance. Once you're into the third base entrance, if we're talking just efficiency, I need food, I'm hitting the Philly cheesesteak from Penn Station, the grab and go right there. Now, if we're talking, John, you're a big back, you need quantity, not quality. If you go down the right field line, there is like an all-you-can-eat section. You get 5 hot dogs, unlimited peanuts, unlimited chips, unlimited drinks for $25. I'm lucky enough to have a wife who likes a glizzy gobbler and takes 2 down, and I take the rest, and then we just split drinks and food.
Yeah, mine. Kirby's your students are going to have to wait a little while to experience what I like to do right when I get in. But I go straight to the garden bar. If you get there before first pitch, $5 beers. Go there, get 2 of them for $5. Go to the seats. First one's lovely. The second one is pretty warm, but you drink it because it's $5.
Yeah, so kind of going in my point of view. So people with little kids or infants or 1-year-olds, this is a good advice for this baseball season. Me and my wife for a long time now just buy the cheap seats. So you go in, get the $18 to $20 seat. Obviously, with a little guy, you can't sit down. So what we do on first baseline corner, we set up shop at one of those standing tables. Perfect view of the game. Jumbotrons right there. You can see it. There's a changing family room that is literally right across the way. So it's awesome right there in the corner where the right field pole is. People with families, check that area out. Obviously not too many because we got our spot. But yeah, you got early, kind of what John was saying, enjoy the ballpark. And it's a nice place to watch the game.
I'm with Joey. If you're in to drink the garden before the game, nostalgic growing up, finding the dollar hot dog stand in like the corner and just trying to get a couple dogs before the game. But now with the 3-2-1 Tuesdays, it changes the game. Um, but something about a $1 dog. When the dog's outside the bun, you got to do the work yourself, right, John?
100%. Now, I do have a round robin question for you all, especially Kirby. You bring up family atmosphere. I think one of the better things that you can do is also just pack all the food. Get some Twizzlers, some sandwiches, get yourself some peanuts, bring it in a cooler. Like, you're afforded that ability at the Red Stadium. Might as well take advantage of it. That's the way we did it growing up watching games. We didn't even hit the stand until that dollar hot dog stand did become a thing. Grab a couple of hot dogs, stale buns typically if you get them later in the game, but it's for $1. It'll feed you.
Freezer burn, baby. Wait, did you say Twizzlers, John?
Yes.
Okay.
You know
I
who
think
that,
it's an elite snack,
you know who
an
that's
elite
not going to
candy.
feed now? It's not going to feed Bryce Harper when he's looking for a new home next year.
No, it's not.
That's an interesting one. Twizzlers on a mid-July like day game that would get wild. Also
You've got
fun
a
game
cooler,
to
pop in the cooler.
yeah, fun game to do at Great American because they do let you bring food in and different things. Take a look around when you sit down and see what people are eating. You'll casually, see the people with like a Chipotle bowl or like different things like that. It's awesome. So fun game to do at Great American. All right, last question that we got for the fan thread. This one here is from I am Cam3. Thanks for the question here. So it says, life on the line. You have to pick the World Series winner for 2026, but you only have two choices, the field or the Dodgers. Who are you picking?
Am I gambling with my own money, or is this just a straight up pick? Like, no,
Let's
nothing
go.
on the line.
No, life
Life on the
savings.
line. Yeah.
Yeah,
Life on the line, life savings.
life on the
Quite literally,
line.
life on the
You're
line.
gambling
Life
on
on
your
the
life.
line.
Yeah.
If it's life on the line, I'm taking my life and I'm putting it on the Dodgers 100%. If it's like actual gambling, I'm gonna try and look for a sneaky little line. I think there was a couple of good ones last year you could dip the toe in, but life on the line, yeah, I'm gonna take the Dodgers. Just too powerful.
I mean, they were one game away from losing last year, so like they are beatable. Injuries happen, a lot of things happen throughout the year. They are, from an odds standpoint, John, they are plus 230 to win the World Series. Next best odds are Yankees at a plus 1,000, Mariners 1,300, Blue Jays 1,400, along with the Phillies and Mets 1,400. So kind of a decent odds gap there. So I too am going with the Dodgers, but I mean, it's a long season, things happen, but they're good.
I'm taking the field. There's 29 other teams.
Nice knowing you, Joey.
So many things can happen, but yeah. I don't want to live in a world where the Dodgers get a three-peat.
Yeah, I'm with Joe on this one. There's no chance. The Dodgers can't win it again. There's no way, right? I mean, I understand they're paying their payrolls as much as the city of Cincinnati's, and not just talking about the Reds, just talking about the whole city in general. But crazy things happen in baseball. But all right,
Every
so
batter gets 3 strikes, so I'm playing the numbers. 29 versus 1. I'll take 29.
yep. I'm Cam3. Thanks for the question there. All right, the last thing that we're going to end with for our fan thread segment is going to be our scoreboard stumper. So we're going to start this every episode. It'll be towards the end of the episode, but what we want to do is kind of make it a similar to the scoreboard stumpers that they put up on Reds games. So it's your Reds trivia. See what you know. See what you can do. Make sure you guys check in the description in this video. There's going to be a link to a poll. We'll keep a live poll and kind of see the percentages and see how people did for the question here. So the scoreboard stumper today for you guys is, which Red had the most consecutive opening day starts at the same position? Who is he, and for how many straight years did he start on opening day? So again, who has the most consecutive opening day starts at the same position? Who is he, and for how many straight years did he start on opening day? So again, make sure you guys check that link out. Fill your guys' responses in. We'd love to see kind of what people do. And if you guys are getting it right, we'll give you a shout out as the episodes continue to go on. All right, before we kind of wrap things up, I do want to spend some time talking about a baseball game starting on Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, we got our first spring training baseball game. Obviously, thoughts and feelings about spring training, stats don't matter, but at the same time, it kind of does. So we'll kind of give you a little breakdown, and I want your guys' opinions on the game and what you guys are personally going to look for the game. So Reds versus Guardians, always the starting spring training game. They share a complex together in Goodyear. The start time is 3:05 p.m. Eastern, and we got our boy Chase Burns starting on the bump. I'm curious to see what your guys' thoughts on why they chose Chase Burns specifically. And then the Guardians are going to be starting Logan Allen. He's a left-handed pitcher, similar kind of role as Chase Burns, trying to make wake his through and trying to figure out where he's going to be in the Guardians starting rotation or bullpen or AAA. So what's your guys' opinions on it? Love to hear.
Two things for you. Same exact time. Reds are playing. Toss the second TV on there. UC Baseball is also playing. Now, if we're talking about just cinematic effect, right? Spring training, a lot of articles coming out right beforehand. Is Chase Burns going to be the 5? Are they going to put Rhett Lauder there? What are people's opinions? First spring training game drops. What does our boy Terry do? Gives it to none other than Chase Burns to start on the mound. I think there's going to be storylines. I think it's going to be fun to watch. Joey, you said it last episode, like, I want 2 dudes in the starting 5 who can throw 100-mile-per-hour gas. Chase Burns, anytime he takes the mound, whether it's spring training or versus the Yankees, throwing 5 strikeouts out of 6 pitchers, like, he's must-watch television. I'll be tuning in. I'll be interested to see, I don't know if they've announced, I haven't done too much looking into it, like how long they'll give him, if it's like 1-2 innings, however they do that for him. But in general, I just think it'll be must-watch TV. Chase Burns on the bump, fighting for a spot in the rotation this year.
Yeah, I think Tito is probably trying to send a little bit of a message to the fans more so than to Chase Burns or Rhett Lauder. I think he's showing he wants Burns to be that 5th guy, and he's going to give him the opportunity to be. And we'll see if he's able to take advantage of it in spring training.
Yeah, I'm curious, like, just from I guess lineups don't matter because people are batting all over the place. I'm really curious how Tito's going to be using these spring training games specifically for the pitching. Obviously, making a statement with Chase Burns, I think that's absolutely what he's trying to do. But like, how is he going to use Brandon Williamson? How often is he going to use him coming off injury? Same thing with Rhett Lauder. Like, you can't have these guys throw out, multiple starts throughout spring training where they're trying to push their numbers up. I think they're trying to get comfortable. So it would be curious to see what Tito's plan is going throughout spring training. Now looking ahead, next episode, we're going to be dropping next episode Sunday or Monday morning at 7 a.m. Monday morning at 7 a.m. For that one, we're going to be talking a little more spring training games, just kind of seeing how it is. And also we're going to be talking probably about what the Reds are trying to figure out right now is their outfield roster battles going forward and seeing where they are at. But any final before we wrap this one up for the Reds fans out there?
No final words. I guess just tune in Saturday. It's the first spring training game. It's going to be nice weather. Try and get outside, set a TV out, a nice cold libation, bag of peanuts from Kroger. Enjoy yourself.
Amen.
What John said.
Love
Go
it.
Reds.
Hey, real quick before we wrap it up, Will Benson, if you do listen out there, we love you, man. All right, no hard feelings. We're mostly just trying to rip on John a little bit about picking you as the breakout player. So, Willie B, you're our boy. Don't think we hate you. All right. Well, hey, that's been Off the Thread, Reds, guys. Thanks for joining us again, and look out for our next episode. That's going to be coming out Monday morning at 7 a.m. Remember, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to check out our social media, which is at OT Thread Reds. And like always, go Reds.